Welcome to Shalom World Podcast.
What if a saint could sit across from you and speak?
Hey, Carlo, welcome to the studio.
Hey!
In the studio with Carlo Acutis.
Before we begin, please note, this program is presented with the creative assumption that St. Carlo Acutis is in the podcast studio speaking with us. We journey through the miracles as seen through the eyes of Carlo Acutis, creatively imagining what it might be like if he were here with us in the studio, sharing his life, message, and love for the Eucharist firsthand.
Welcome back to In the Studio with Carlo Acutis, where we uncover the most extraordinary Eucharistic miracles in history and explore their significance for us today. St. Carlo, welcome.
Always happy to be here. Today's miracle is really special. Every Eucharistic miracle has a story, but this one changed the entire church.
Jumping right into it, huh? Before we begin, a quick reminder. In our previous episode, we explored the miracle of Siena, where the hosts have remained perfectly intact for nearly 300 years. If you missed it, you can listen to it on Shalom World Podcast. So, Carlo, the Eucharistic miracle of Bolsena-Orvieto in Italy, it happened in the 13th century, right?
Yes, and even 800 years later, it has left an amazing impact on the church. Did you know? This is the miracle that led to the universal feast of Corpus Christi.
Oh, wow. So tell us more. Like, what actually happened?
Well, there was a priest visiting from Germany in the town of Bolsena in central Italy. He was faithful, sincere, and devoted. But internally, he was struggling. You know, he did have faith, yet carried a doubt. Is the Eucharist truly the body and blood of Christ? Or just a symbol? He prayed, he celebrated Mass, he served, but, yeah, his doubt remained. During Mass in the Church of St. Christina, the moment he spoke the words of consecration, the consecrated host began to bleed. Like, there was actual blood coming from the host. It flowed onto the corporal, the altar, and even the floor. Imagine holding the host and suddenly the host bleeding before your eyes.
I can't even.
The congregation was shocked. And then something incredible happened. Doubt was cast away. Fear was replaced with faith. No explanation, no debate. Just awe.
So, at that time, Pope Urban IV was staying in nearby Orvieto, right? I remember reading about it. So, word reached him quickly.
Yeah. Pretty quickly, actually.
What happened next?
Yes. So, the blood-stained corporal was carried there in solemn procession. When the Pope saw it, he recognized it as a divine confirmation. Not just for one priest, but for the whole church.
And what did Pope Urban IV do?
So, the Pope had the corporal enshrined in the Cathedral of Orvieto, where it still remains today. And because of this miracle, he instituted a universal feast dedicated to the Eucharist. We all know it as the Feast of Corpus Christi.
Unlike more recent miracles, no modern scientific testing was available in the 1200s. So, how did they verify it?
Well, they verified it the way the Church discerned miracles in that time. Through the testimony of those who witnessed it, through pastoral judgment, and through the lasting spiritual fruit that followed. And through all these centuries, its meaning hasn't faded. For more than 750 years, the corporal has been preserved and venerated. Lab reports were never required because the testimony is carried by faith, memory, and tradition.
And that enduring testimony paved the way for something even bigger, right? Because Pope Urban IV didn't just declare a feast, huh? He commissioned someone extraordinary.
Oh yes, one of the greatest theologians of all time, St. Thomas Aquinas, was commissioned by the Pope to compose the liturgy for Corpus Christi. That's how we receive some of the most beloved Eucharistic hymns. Pange Lingua, Tantum Ergo, O Salutaris Hostia, Adoro Te Devote. All the treasures the Church still sings today.
That's amazing.
And all of this didn't stay in the 13th century. Every year, the Feast of Corpus Christi still comes alive around the world, with processions carrying Jesus in the Eucharist through city streets, rural villages, everywhere really. All because one struggling priest encountered God's mercy.
Yeah. That's the part that always stops me in my tracks. When you step back for a moment, you realize something powerful. This entire miracle was set in motion by doubt.
Yes, and that's the heart of it for me. I absolutely love this miracle for it. God didn't condemn that priest or shame him. He met him right in the middle of his struggle and answered him gently, personally, and beautifully. Real faith isn't about pretending we never question. It's about letting God meet us in those questions.
Exactly. And what's amazing is that it didn't remain something between the priest and God. That miracle became a source of strength for the whole church.
Exactly. What he thought was his weakness ended up blessing millions. That's grace at its best.
And isn't it awesome that even now, the Feast of Corpus Christi reminds us that the Eucharist isn't only for the altar.
Totally. It's carried into the world, to the places where Jesus longs to meet his people. Because every consecration, at every Mass, everywhere, is a miracle. Jesus becomes present, not symbolically, but truly.
So, the miracle of Bolsena-Orvieto didn't just answer a question, it gave us a feast that still brings the whole church together.
Yeah, and it invites each of us to come to the Eucharist with just so much confidence, reverence, and joy. If your parish has a Corpus Christi procession this year, go. Walk with the Lord. See it with fresh eyes. Remember the miracle that inspired it, and let your life become a testimony to the real presence, just like that corporal in Orvieto.
Thank you, Carlo, and thank you to everyone listening. We'll see you in the next episode of In the Studio with Carlo Acutis.
Never forget, the Eucharist is the highway to heaven.
Shalom World Podcast is now available on all online platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and others.